Okay, in this video, I'm just going to show you the simplest way to add some dirt to your 3D models in Blender. There are so many ways to do this, but this is just, I think, just a really easy way. Okay, so we have our 3D model here. You can use whatever you want. Something to mention is that I do have the UVs kind of working for this. I do have those laid out, but if you have that, then this should all work kind of the same. Really what we want to do is we want to use a add-on called Uku Paint. And I've always been kind of afraid of add-ons for whatever reason, but this is really not a big deal. You can go to Preferences and go to Add-ons and just type UCU. There we go. And just click that box and install it. And if it has a little update button, click on Update. And that will add Uku Paint to this sidebar. If you hit N on the keyboard, then we have this little Uku Paint thing right here. And what we can do is use this to make all kinds of goodness for our 3D models. And so you can add textures, and it's a layer-based texture editor. And it's kind of like a little version of Photoshop, but for your textures. And it's just so much easier than using the nodes in the shading graph and everything. And so, yeah, so really all we do is select our object here and then click on this quick Uku Paint node setup like this and hit OK. And then it kind of sets it up for you and it applies everything to this new material. So we have the layer stack right here, and we can just kind of build up layers for our surface. So the first layer we're going to do is just a solid color. So let's say solid color, and let's pick whatever color we want. I'll pick, yeah, kind of this orangish yellow kind of looking thing, and hit OK. That's going to just kind of plug in this color here. Now I want to make my dirt, but how I'm going to do it is I'm going to make the color of the dirt, and then I'm going to use a mask to tell it where the dirt goes. Okay, so we're going to go up here to plus, and then go down to solid color with image mask, like this. We're going to pick a color that's going to be dirty, so kind of a desaturated dark brown kind of thing. I'll make this 2048 for our mask resolution, and hit OK. Now, nothing happens so far. That's because we have a mask on here that is black. If we switch to preview mode, we'll see that there is nothing going on for our mask here. And if I switch to alpha, this is going to be all black, because a mask is really just a black and white image. And wherever it's white, that's where whatever you're masking is going to show up. And wherever it's black, that's where it's not going to be. Okay. So I'll switch alpha preview mode here, just so we can see what's actually going on. And I'm going to go up to where it says object mode right here and switch this to texture paint. That will turn this into painting mode. And then I have two options here. I have black or white, and I can hit X on the keyboard to switch white to the left. And that's what I want, because when I paint on white like this, then it's going to show that brown color. Okay, so it's showing the brown where the white is. Again, if I switch to preview mode, we're painting white on this black texture, and wherever it's white, that's where it's going to show whatever we're masking. Okay, so we're showing that brown. I'll hit Control Z, and now really what we're going to do is just paint our dirt wherever we want there to be dirt. And there's so many different ways that you can do this. One way that you could do it would just be to go to this Paint Soft brush, and this is going to be a little bit softer. And we have all kinds of different options for how to set our brush up here. Way too many to go over in this tutorial. If you want a tutorial on all kinds of brush stuff, let me know, and we can work on that, all right? But here's what we're going to do, really. We're going to go up to Texture Mask, and we're going to set a texture mask, because that's going to let us do some fancy stuff, and it's kind of the easiest way to do that. So I'm going to go here where it says New, and then click on these little control thingies here, and that's going to open up a texture over here. And what we need to do is set a texture for our brush. So I'm going to go over and hit open, and I'm going to open up a texture that is actually available for free, called this Grunge Brush 1. I'll hit open image. This is available. There's a link down in the description, and you can get this for free from my school. And yeah, you can check that out, and I'll tell you more about that in a second. But yeah, you can see what this is a black and white image that has a little texture on it. And what we can do is set some options for our texture mask. This mask mapping, let's switch this to random. And we'll also check rake and random like this. And now look what happens. Remember, we have our white brush here. We have our texture mask, which is going to kind of shape the shape of the brush. And look, as I paint this, it kind of makes these little splotchy, grungy little pieces. And that is really the key, okay? So I'll hit Control Z a few times. What we want is to make this big. So let's make this size like 300 maybe. And let's take the strength down to like 0.3, all right? So this is like 30% opacity with a big brush. And now look what happens. When I paint this on, it adds kind of this dust. And as I kind of do it a bunch, we can see it looks a little bit dirty. So look at that. Now we're making things dirty. That's so easy. Now check this out. This is next level. Okay, I'll hit Control Z a few times to get rid of that. What we're going to do is we're going to view this from kind of like the bottom. And I'm going to paint this kind of on the bottom, and look what happens. I'm just going to paint this a little bit like this. And as I do it, it's going to kind of like streak up as I paint it. And now check this out. It kind of adds streaks that go up like this. It's kind of moving up this way. And see those little streaks? Yes. And so it looks like the dust has kind of just like gotten kicked up a little bit onto the edges here. And we can just kind of paint the bottom of this. Oh man, I love that. That looks so cool. And it's so easy. All right. I can hit X at any point, and that's going to switch these colors. And I'm going to basically be using this black brush now. Again, if I switch to preview mode, this is all white, and I can paint black here using this brush. And I'm going to turn this strength up a lot more, like 0.7 maybe. And I can paint this black on here and kind of break this up a little bit more. So we can really kind of break this up. And the more you work with this, the more it's going to look a little bit more natural. Yeah, see, that looks so cool. And it's so easy. It's so easy just to paint that. Now, there are ways to do this more automatically and do this procedurally and all this, but I think this is just the simplest way, and it's fun, you know? Like, one of the things that I love about Blender is there's infinite creativity. And it's so cool to just be able to be creative and just make stuff and kind of paint on here. That's one of the reasons why I called my school Blender Joy. All right, because it's the joy of Blender, right? I'm a big Bob Ross fan, and I have so much fun working in Blender, and I want to invite you to have fun working in Blender too. In fact, if you go to the classroom after you join, there is some free stuff here. Here's free goodies. And we have free textures. And look, here's our free brushes. You can download this grunge brush as well as a spatter brush and probably some more stuff by the time you get over here. All right. But yeah, that's a really easy way to add dirt to your 3D. And I hope that you enjoyed this and had a great time. And yeah, click the link down in the description. And I want to see you in my community, in the school community, and you can get free stuff. Say hi. That would be awesome. Okay, bye.